Hi everyone, welcome to Acceptance and Beyond. This is part 2 of the tactile system. So previous video we discussed about what is tactile perception and how our children perceive the different properties of touch. They perceive it differently. The brain is not processing the information right. This video we're going to speak about what is tactile discrimination and what is tactile protection. Tactile discrimination is basically in early years a child can discriminate the touch input. Okay, this allows the individual to understand the position where they are positioned in space, and they are also able to understand where they are being touched. They can tell a difference between what is light touch and what is deep touch, and they can differentiate the textures, whether it's rough, whether it's smooth. They're able to even identify what is the size, the shape, the temperature, the density, the texture. All these properties they are able to identify because of this function, which is tactile discrimination. Whereas protective sense is the function where the skin is, or not the skin, the tactile system overall is responsible for protecting and warning us of dangerous stimuli. Let's talk about tactile discrimination more in detail. So, tactile discrimination is the ability to differentiate information through the sense of touch. Okay, so one is that it helps us to identify where we are being touched. Are we being touched on the back, on the hand, on the legs, or the face? So with our eyes closed, if somebody touches us, we are still able to identify where we are being touched. Okay. The second is stereognosis. Now, stereognosis is the ability to tell the difference between objects or to identify objects based on solely touch. So if you give a bag, okay, with a lot of different fruits or toys or random things, random objects, and if you are able to close your eyes and put your hand inside the bag, and if you're able to identify what is the object just by the base of touch, okay, that is called stereognosis. So by touching, you're able to differentiate whether you're touching a marker, a pencil, or a pen. And it also helps us to identify different textures. You're able to identify whether what the surface you're touching is rough or smooth, whether it's hard or soft. Okay, and another third point is a third thing that it's important function is 2-point discrimination. See, normally what happens is we have a lot of receptors which are present, multiple receptors present on the palms and soles. More are present on the hands rather than on the back. So when we do a neurological examination called 2-point discrimination, you take two sharp points, okay, place it close to each other, and when you place it on your fingertip, you are able to identify it as two different points which are touching you. But if you keep that same distance and you put it over your back, you will identify it as one single structure. That is normal for all children. So what happens in our children is that this perception of this 2-point, okay, this perception of two different points is lost. So at the back, because we have lesser receptors, the 2-point discrimination, the distance between the 2 points will be a little higher. Okay, because our children lack the right kind of discrimination sense, they are not able to, they have an alteration of the touch and the pressure sensation. So they cannot identify two points as two separate points. And another is graphesthesia. This is the ability to recognize a number or a letter which is written on our body with our eyes closed. So all these tests are done with eyes closed. Only solely by feel. By feeling touch, you are able to identify what is being written, what is being, what you're feeling, what whether it's hot, whether it's cold. All these senses you're able to identify just by touch without the help of vision. Okay, so imagine a child who is not having this tactile discriminative sense in place, right? The child will be super scared to walk in a crowded place. Now, he might not be able to understand where he's going to be touched. He might not be able to understand who is going to be touching him, whether somebody is going to touch him on the back. See, the thing is they can feel the touch, but they're not able to identify the exact location of the touch. Okay, and we need to observe the child, and we need to identify why the child is being cranky every time we take them to a crowded place. Another thing is, some of the children, they do not get adequate information by touch. So they might not seem interested in manipulating objects. And we already know that for learning, we need to manipulate objects. The children have to manipulate objects. Touch is so important to learn, okay, about the surrounding environment. What are the signs and symptoms of poor tactile perception and discrimination? The children may be clumsy, they grasp things too tightly or not tight enough. So you might have a child who's grasping a pencil very tight, okay, and whose handwriting will be so, they might write really hard such that they might actually make holes in the paper. Or you can have another extreme where the child is not able to hold the pen or the pencil, okay, and it just keeps falling off from their grip. They're unable to identify common objects by only touch. If someone touches them, they can feel the touch, but they're not able to identify which part of the body is being touched. And that's why they're scared of crowded places. They're unable to differentiate between light touch and hard touch. They have poor fine motor skills. For fine motor skills, you need to be able to have a proper discrimination and a perception of what you're holding, what you're having. Is it a pen or is it a scale? Just by the feel or the touch of it, you must be able to identify. If that is not there, you won't know how much pressure to apply when you're holding a pen or a scale. So what will happen is that they will land up with poor fine motor skills and in turn learning delay. They will be afraid of the dark because without being able to see, they are not able to identify the objects. So if we have to move in the dark, we tend to put our hands front and try to identify things by touching it. So we know, okay, this is a chair, it's a table, but they are not able to do that, and that's why they're scared of the dark. They continue to explore objects with their mouth even after 2 years of age. They cannot get adequate information by touch and hence seem disinterested in manipulating toys. Next is the protective sensation. So this is basically if we touch something hot, reflexively we withdraw our hand. Now this is a main function of the protective sense. It's a reflex reaction to anything that we feel dangerous. Now it protects the body from any kind of damaging stimuli. See, if this protective sensation is not in place and the withdrawal reflex is not there and the child touches something hot, obviously the child is going to burn their hand. It is basically going to cause more harm to our children. So there must be a balance between the discriminative and the protective sense. So the discriminative sense in the growing years, in the initial years, it is increasingly alert. Okay, so a young child through experience of touch is able to identify whether it's light or whether some object is light or heavy, and they're able to identify, they're able to discriminate, and they're able to find out different kind of textures. So basically a child explores the environment through touch. Okay, the child can locate where it's being touched. The child can interpret exactly where is the location of the touch. All this is important for the discriminative sense, and that is more high on alert in the early years. Whereas the protective sense in the beginning years is not very high. Okay, so if there is an ant that comes, or if the wind blows, they don't feel scared. Their initial reaction is not anxiety and scared. They would probably look at it with wonder. Okay, so that's how normally that's how it is for young children, because they learn by touch. Okay, so you will have that little discriminative sense which is there is going to be much more responsive than the protective sense. So what is tactile defensiveness? What happens with these children? The protective system, okay, is more responsive than the discriminative system. So if the protective system is going to predominate, it's going to severely limit how an individual copes with the environment. The child will be a scared child and there will be fight or flight responses. So, what is a fight or flight response is basically a physiological reaction that happens. Say, if you are faced by danger, you're about to fall off a cliff, or somebody is about to attack you. No, we would have a physiological change all over our body, right? So, we would have an increase in heart rate, labored breathing, deep breathing, sweaty hands, tense muscles, eyes would dilate. So, you're going to have a physiological reaction to the danger. Okay, so what happens in these children is a light touch is going to, or something which is perceived normal for all of us. Okay, they are going to perceive it as dangerous. So for us, it might just be a light touch, but for them, they feel it's very, uh, a dangerous stimuli, and hence they end up having a fight or flight reflex, and they're very scared of all the sensations, because the brain is giving wrong signal of the sensations that they are feeling. On the other hand, if there is an immature protective system, it's going to impair the ability to perform daily living, because these children are not afraid of any danger. Another important thing is touch adaptation. This means the reduction in sensitivity to a stimulus after constant exposure to it. I'll give you an example. Say if you are, dipping into a cool pool, okay, or a very cold pool. The moment you get inside the pool, you're going to feel it's really cold and you might freeze. That's the extreme temperature, right? But after some time, your body gets adapted to that temperature. You don't find it very cold anymore. You might just find it cool. In fact, later you might find it very pleasant and warm. Similarly, if you're sitting on a couch, initially you're going to feel the couch, the surface of the couch, whether it's rough or smooth. And after some time, because of touch adaptation, you don't even realize you're sitting on the couch. Children with SPD, they have issue with touch adaptation, so they get annoyed with tags, or while wearing socks, because the tag, see, when we have the tags in the clothing, once we wear the clothing, we don't feel the clothing or the tags. It doesn't bother us because of touch adaptation. But for these children, constantly they are able to feel that tag rubbing against their skin. Constantly they're able to feel the sock like some foreign object always on their leg. So that is why they don't like wearing a sock, or they don't like these tags. So most of the children with tactile issues also have oral sensitivities. So there are different type of receptors which are present even within the mouth, right? Including the touch receptors. So these kids who struggle will have certain, they might be hypersensitive or hyposensitive. So the children who are hypersensitive, right, they are the ones who are oral defensive. Okay, they don't like brushing teeth. They avoid certain food textures. They might avoid certain kind of temperatures of food, and they might not, when you feed them, they might use their teeth to pull the food. Okay, they might not want the food to touch their lips, and they gag while eating. So these are the children who have oral defensiveness. And similarly, you have children who are hyposensitive, and they have difficulty in chewing and swallowing, because they're not able to actually feel the food in their mouth. Because they're not able to feel the food, they're not having adequate sensation of food in their mouth, they might stuff their mouth with a lot of food. And these are the children who have a risk of choking. They are messy eaters, and they have excessive salivation or drooling, and they always want to chew on something. They might chew on their sleeves, they chew on pencil tips, they might chew on toys, inedible objects. Okay, and these are the children who like various flavors. These are the kind of issues based on the touch. Okay, there are certain oral sensitivities which are related to smell and taste as well. Those I will be mentioning when we speak about those specific systems. Okay, so with this we come to the end of how to find out if our children have tactile dysfunction. Treatment as such is basically occupational therapy, which is done by occupational therapist, and a sensory integration helps these children. Basically, you need to analyze and identify what kind of characteristics your child has, whether she or he is hypersensitive, hyposensitive, or mixed, and discuss it with your therapist, because they will help you to give a set of activities called a sensory diet, which you can do throughout the day to help your child. So later, after this, after I explain about all the senses, I will also explain what is sensory diet and give a few activities which can be done at home. But the ideal way to go forward is to discuss with your therapist, because it differs for each child. To identify what exactly is happening to your child is the most important step. Only then we will be able to, give the right kind of activities to help them out. Okay, thank you so much. If you like these videos, kindly press on the like button, and you can subscribe if you want updates for more videos. Thank you so much.